Yeah.
Because I've flirted with Twitter in the past, and I just can't. I just can't do it anymore.
I'm kind of there right now, like listening to all the OGL leak stuff that's going on with D&D. I don't know how you're gonna how you're handling that stuff.
What does that mean? What does OG? I've been wondering what OGL means.
So the open game license for D&D, where it allows like creatives to basically create D&D 5e content like freely without having to pay royalties to Wizards of the Coast.
Now I have seen this. I didn't know what the acronym meant.
Yeah. Basically, the Wizards of the Coast had a leak. We're not sure if it's confirmed. People are speculating certain things, but it's basically the new OGL is OGL 1.1, and it makes it so that if companies are earning exceeding a certain amount of revenue, then they have to pay royalties, which is like a huge chunk of the money that certain businesses using the original OGL have to like transfer to this new OGL or something like that. People are saying like there's different views on it, but you know, start opening up your repertoire into different tabletop RPGs is what everyone is like kind of thinking about, because you know we have like Pathfinder, we have Starfinder, but those are technically under the OGL because they were originally created from the D&D. And so it's like it's a hard thing to figure out. So we have Reborn in Power over here.
Reborn in Power, yeah. I mean, it's Reborn in Power, yeah. It's robust, and it could definitely fill in that niche for sure. But the thing, I mean, I don't understand how they're going to get that money off people. Like, is it just the people creating it, or people streaming, or is it people?
I'm pretty sure it's people creating it. So, like, for example, Critical Role has their own rule books that they have for the Exandria, like Wildmount and Tal'Dorei and all that stuff. And those specific books are sold. So if they're making us over a certain amount, I think it's like $750,000. I don't know if that's like the threshold, but if they're making above that threshold, then they have to pay 25% of royalties. And that's like a lot. So if you're making like $2 million on something for a Kickstarter that you ran, then then you have to pay 25% of royalties above the 75K that you basically were able to make over on that Kickstarter. So it really screws up the kickstarting market and all that stuff. And Wizards of the Coast has a bunch of lawyers that they can go and attack, basically sue you into oblivion for that.
It seems like they realized that a lot of people play D&D without paying them any money, and they hate it.
Yep.
I think part of this is, I think this may be a reaction to certain political stuff that political minefields that they've stepped into, where people have realized, well, I can play your game, but I don't have to support you at all. That's sort of where I am with D&D, with Wizards of the Coast. I'm like, I don't like you. I don't like what you stand for. I don't like that you keep screwing around with stuff. I don't like the power creep.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play your game. All the rules are online, so I don't need to buy any of your books or any of your modules or any other bullshit. I can just make my own stuff, and I can run it with people I like.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That seems like the best route to go, especially over the past few years. People who are paying money to Wizards of the Coast, it's not necessary. And my only thing is that I feel like D&D, it has such a huge market share over everything. It is the name brand, and it's basically a monopoly at this point.
Yes, I think that's why they're doing
industry.
That's why they're doing this with the OGL, basically, because they can.
Yeah, they can, and it's going to affect Paizo in some regards, which is the creators of Pathfinder and Starfinder, and it will probably affect Critical Role.
I don't think it's going to affect them at all.
You don't think so?
No, I think they're going to just continue doing what they've done, regardless, and basically be brought into the fold with Wizards of the Coast, because they basically are already. And they're too popular. I think stepping on their toes would be a really, really bad move for Wizards of the Coast.
But also, it's probably also like Hasbro kind of like stepping down on Wizards of the Coast too, because the Hasbro executives are like we need to make more money, and how do we get more money out of D&D? Let's make one D&D and make everything like centered around that, and no one can create within it unless they have like our specific license for it.
And you need to be on their subscription service in order to even access certain things. The thing, like the thing that and this is, I mean, it's going to affect things like Roll20, I think, as well. I feel like Roll20 is what, for people who don't know, Roll20 is basically a virtual tabletop that you can access for free, or you can pay a subscription to it, and you get more room in your thing because you can upload tokens and upload maps and things. And I've used that for a couple of years. It's served me fairly well. I think I would say Roll20 is like the introduction virtual tabletop for people. I think I feel like learning Map Tool might be a good thing, a good way to go.
I'm
for future things.
I'm thinking about other different like virtual tabletops and how they work. Map Tool has a bit more of a learning curve, I feel like. I mean, Arak will like explain everything to you. That's our player, Alien Oven, who's inside our Discord. But it feels like he's sat down with it and really got to grips with it. Yeah, he makes all the macros, and he kind of like runs the Map Tool version while I'm running like everything else while we're playing, so that like I don't have to worry about all the little tiny details on the actual virtual tabletop while we're playing, and it makes things run a lot smoother. Yeah. I think, well, the other thing, I mean, you can always go with Theatre of the Mind, though. This is the thing, like, you don't even need that stuff. Like, the thing about this 1D&D pitch, this whole situation that they're doing with the extreme monetization, you cannot monetize people's imagination. You just can't. I could easily, regardless of 1D&D, I could easily just get a few people together on Discord or on Minds or wherever, and say, okay, hop on this Discord server. We're going to go Theatre of the Mind. I know all the rules for 5e. Yeah. And anything I don't know, I can look up easily. Let's just do that and run a campaign. Yeah. All you need is a way to jot down all the stuff. Like you can literally just take a Google Doc and have all the different, like, character name, all your ability scores, and all the content there, and then run it. Yeah. I mean, and if you're a secret granddad like me, do it in notebooks, right? Yeah. Like you can't monetize imagination in that manner because it's not going to work. And I feel like this is the thing, like because they feel like they're a monopoly, and because they probably are, they can do this. But doing stuff like this ruins companies, no matter how big they are. Like a lot of so no one wants to play with their stuff. No one wants to buy their stuff. They're probably just shooting themselves in the foot right at this point. I mean, probably. I mean, I look at a lot of gaming, a lot of companies who were like solid and fine
if even like 10 years ago, just shoot themselves in the foot by doing stupid things. Like Warner Brothers right now is just like spiraling and circling the drain, and they've no idea what they're doing.
I feel like every single entertainment like company, oh, not every single one, but like a lot of them are shooting themselves in the foot currently.
Oh yeah, well I mean they're certainly hemorrhaging money, like Disney hemorrhaging money.
Disney, yes.
Now, because they're such a big name, and because they've got so many avenues and so many different pools of revenue coming in, because they've got their fingers in every pie, they can probably survive, and they will survive, I imagine. They're like a cockroach with little mouse ears. They'll survive the nuclear holocaust. They'll be absolutely fine. But like Warner Brothers are in deep. Like they're in deep. CW. CW was fine 10 years ago. CW is dead. Basically dead.
I don't know how companies will come back from this. Like, I mean, I feel like there's a potential chance that, you know, how the comic book, like Marvel sold all their stuff to Disney like back in the day when they started going down under. So if things get really bad for these companies, they'll probably start selling their intellectual properties to other companies. And hopefully the people who pick those up are better than, you know, like don't make the same mistakes as the company that had them before.
I mean, you'd think, the roadmap is laid out. Like it's not a secret, or like, oh, how on earth did this happen? How did we? It's like it's obvious how everything got screwed up. It's right there.